Hello. Welcome to this impromptu live stream. I'm drinking my coffee and my voice sounds super awful right now. But I wanted to get on here and look at the Goodreads Choice Awards and see who is nominated. I haven't been spoiled yet for I was spoiled for one nominee because I saw it on her Instagram and I saw it and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so excited." So anyone who's not familiar, the Goodreads Choice Awards is a thing that they do like every year and there are different categories. I'm not clicking on it yet because I don't want to be spoiled. There are different categories and yes, today is the day. I wanted to pre-schedule. Sorry, it is early. I wanted to pre-schedule this live stream to go through these, but I kind of forgot about it until I saw Carissa Broadbent post something. So anyway, let's just see what kind of nominees we have. I probably won't vote yet unless there's something that's just like absolutely blowing my mind. Nice. That's exciting. Let's see. So I'll just go category by category. I can already see that there are some that I've definitely read and I loved, and then there are some that I meant to read, and then there are some that I have not read anything. So here's the fiction category. This is probably one of my least read categories ever. I don't know if I have read any of these. I have Yellow Face on my TBR. I'm not surprised to see that. I have The Wishing Game on my TBR as well. So that sounded really cute. I recognize a lot of these books from work, but I don't know a lot about like any of these books. So, ooh, The Collected Regrets of Clover. I don't know what that is, but that sounds interesting. And of course, I know that Alice Hoffman, that is the Practical Magic author, but that's not a Practical Magic book. This could be a really good category for me to read, like read the category and see what I think of things. All right, historical fiction. I also don't read a lot of historical fiction, so I feel like I'm not going to know any of these things. Let's see if there's anything that I recognize. I know I see this author a lot, The Vaster Wilds by Lauren Groff, and I know she writes a lot, so I'm kind of intrigued to read her books. One spirited girl alone in the wilderness trying to survive. A servant girl escapes from a colonial settlement. That could be interesting. The Keeper of Hidden Books. That sounds fun. A heartwarming story about the power of books to bring us together, inspired by the true story of the underground library of the World War II Warsaw by New York Times bestselling author The Last Bookshelf. Wait. That sounds interesting. I do have Wayward. I got that in Book of the Month, but I never read it. I thought the cover was really cool. I'm a Wayward and Wild Inside. 2019. Under cover of darkness, Kate flees London for a ramshackle wayward cottage inherited from a great aunt she barely remembers. Wait, with its tumbling ivy and overgrown garden, the cottage is worlds away from the abusive partner who tormented Kate. But she begins to suspect that her great aunt has a secret, one that lurks in the bones of the cottage. Ooh, and there's witchcraft. That sounds interesting. Oh no, I didn't want to go that far. The Echo of Old Books. I mean, if it's a historical book about books, I might be in. Rare book dealer. Affinity for books extends beyond the intoxicating scent of old paper, ink, and leather. She can feel the echoes of the book's previous owners, an emotional fingerprint only she can read. Ashlyn discovers a pair of beautifully bound volumes that appear to have never been published. Her gift becomes an obsession. That sounds interesting. Okay. Mystery and thriller. Maybe I'll know some in the mysteries and thrillers. I feel like I'm going to know some of the authors and some of the books. Oh, wait. The only one left. I still have like 100 pages to read of that one. It's really, really creepy. Is it the best one in the category? I'm not sure. But it is really creepy. And I know Frida McFadden is talked about all over on like Book Talk and Instagram and stuff. Oh, I read What Lies in the Woods and I did not like it. It was a 3 stars. I thought I was going to love it and then it was just kind of okay. And that was the book that led me to realize that thrillers are probably not my thing. So this might be a category that I may or may not actually vote in, but maybe I'll read the winner. Like the smaller round of winners. And I know that these books are really talked about. The Thursday Murder Club, but I just don't know. It just doesn't appeal to me. Literally none of these really appeal to me. I'm sure they're good books, but like I also know a lot of people were reading None of This Is True and it sounded kind of interesting. It has a podcast element. Okay, romance. Let's see. Okay. This is one where I will have read things. This I want to read because I know that the Elsie Silver books are pretty popular. I read another book by Hannah Grace, the first book, the ice hockey one, and it was okay. That was like a 3-star. So I don't feel super compelled to pick this one up, but like maybe. I read Practice Makes Perfect, and I will say that the cover is really cute. The actual book, not for me. It was just okay. There's a Rebecca Yarros. I do have that on my Kindle I could read. That'd be interesting to see how her romance compares to Fourth Wing. Pucking Around. I want to read. It's an ice hockey romance. I feel like I've heard pretty mediocre things. I don't know. Love Theoretically. I'm not surprised that that's on there. Because it's Allie Hazelwood. I haven't read that one yet. I can only read so much Allie Hazelwood at a time. 7-Year Slip I have to read. I think that has like a magical realism element. So that's intriguing to me. This one I've seen a lot of people reading that. And like the cover, I almost got it from Book of the Month and then I couldn't decide if it actually looked interesting. So maybe I'll give that one a try. Megan Quinn sounds really interesting to me. She's that author that I follow on like everything, but I haven't read her yet. And Lauren Asher, I've only read her F1 series. I haven't read the other series. She's kind of okay for me. Like her books are very wordy and very long for romance books. But the steam is good and the writing is really good. It's just like really long for what I want. I did love Happy Place. 5 stars. I'm an Emily Henry girly for sure. And I have this one, True Love Experiment, but Christina Lauren is super hit or miss for me, so I was kind of apprehensive to read it. And I have this one as well, Meet Me at the Lake. But I think I got that one from work, so I don't really know. Hold up. Romantasy is a legitimate category. Okay. That's fun. Let's see how many of these I've read. Maybe not many. Okay. So, of the first row, I have Foxglove King from, like, Fairy Loot or whatever. Haven't read it yet. I haven't read Jennifer L. Armentrout, the rest of the series. I'm on the second book in, whatever it's called. Zodiac Academy, I haven't read. Fourth Wing, of course, I read. And that'll probably win. Let's get rid. Oh my god. Ah! This is okay, don't skip ahead. I started Bewitched by Laura Thalassa. It's okay. It's not the greatest thing I've ever read, obviously, since I started it and haven't finished. But I do want to continue it. It's pretty good. Ah! How will I choose? Actually, I haven't read Slaying the Vampire Conqueror yet. So, but The Ashes of the Star-Cursed King is, oh my gosh. That series is so good. So, so good. I was introduced to Carissa Broadbent this year, and she is just incredible. Her world building, her like the steam, the characters, her writing, like she deserves all the success that she is seeing. And I think I'll have to read Slaying the Vampire Conqueror because part of me wants to vote for Ashes of the Star-Cursed King so that people can see it and read it and be introduced to this world. I would be very surprised if that doesn't make it further. Assistant to the Villain, I'm supposed to read this month for a book club and I haven't read it. It just doesn't appeal to me. It looks so young. I don't know. Hurricane Wars, everyone's talking about it. I'm intrigued. I want to read like this whole category. But then I have to read like a bajillion JLA books because at least this one is part of the series, right? Blood and Ash, yeah. Oh, I just want to stay home and read romantasy. Okay, let's see. What's in the fantasy? If Fourth Wing is in the romantasy, what's in the fantasy? Okay, so A Day of Fallen Night is on my TBR this month, and I haven't read the other one either, so that's cool. Bookshops and Bone Dust, I started the audiobook yesterday, and it is so good. So cozy, amazing. And the fact that it's about books, like the second one is about books, just makes it so much better. Starling House. I know a lot of people have been talking about it, and I have it to read. Amina Al-Saraf. I think that was, yeah, a 3-star for me. It was okay. Not great. I started Inkblood Scribe. It's okay. I haven't finished it, so yeah. Last Tale of Flower Bride. What did I give that? 4 stars. I feel like that's one of those books that in the moment it was a 4 stars, but now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably a 3. There's the Brandy Sandy. Oh, okay. There's where my 2 votes will want to go. So we've got Tress. I'm not surprised that that's the one that's nominated. Haven't read it yet. I think I'm gonna like it, so there's that. And the book that wouldn't burn, I want to read so, so badly. But it's hard to get a copy of it. I mean, obviously Amazon, but it's hard to go into the bookstore and get a copy because the hardcovers were selling out for a while. Hellbound, I haven't continued with the series yet. Witch King, I have, and these two. Encyclopedia of Fairies. That was my first read of the year, and it was my first 5-star. And I think I'm not going to reread it until January when the second one comes out. But I loved that book so much. And then The Unmaking of June Farrow, I read last month. I got it from Book of the Month. And it was one of my most anticipated books of the year. Like, it was so good. Yeah. Adrienne Young just writes magic. I don't know how else to say it. She is magic. Okay, sci-fi fiction. Let's see. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay. Oh, okay. So I probably only read one thing in this whole category, but it was one of my favorite books ever. So, Starter Villain by John Scalzi, so good. It has like talking cats and um dolphins, and it's so crazy. Um, you think it's gonna be like a mobster story, but it's like dystopic mobster story with talking cats. So good. All right. I feel like Lightbringer will win. I haven't read that series yet, but it's there. Um, I'm scared of this series, The Children of Time. I don't think I'm gonna like it. So that's all I have to say there. Murderbot series. I've listened to one so far, and they're so good. I need to continue. This, I think I picked it up, or I picked up another book by him from work. His books are just so long. But I'd be intrigued to read that. I have In the Lives of Puppets. Haven't read it. I feel like this is just a live stream of me talking about what I haven't read. And I know nothing about any of these. So, sci-fi, I have one of my favorite books of all time, but I also don't know much about these other books. And I don't know that that book is going to win. All right, horror. I feel like I'm going to know none of this, or some of them, and I won't have read any of these. I do love that there's a romantasy section. Oh, wait, I have read one. Okay, First Line. Haven't read any of these. Silver Nitrate does sound interesting. I think there's like a movie element to it. I did read The September House. I apparently didn't rate it, but I would give it a 5 stars. I thought it was pretty good. I listened to it on audiobook, and I like haunted house stories. Something I've learned this year is that my horror taste is very basic. So, haunted house stories do it for me. Is it objectively a good book? I have no idea. But for me, it was good. And I like when there's like little twists at the end. Like it's kind of obvious what's happening, but I don't know. I thought it was good. This row I haven't read anything. I have Vampires of El Norte to try. Next one, I've read How to Sell a Haunted House. I gave it a 4 star, which is pretty good for me with Grady Hendrix because he's not like I think his horror is not my favorite. I can see why people recommend it as a good like starter horror because it has more comedy in it, but the only other book I read by him was Horror Store, and that was just okay for me. Dead 11 I want to listen to really bad. And I do want to read some Stephen Graham Jones. So this could be an interesting category to read. Young adult fantasy and sci-fi fiction. I like how they put that together. Okay. Foxglove I have to read on my TBR. And that is one of my most anticipated books because I loved Belladonna. So we'll see. Hopefully I get to that. I know I know people love sorry, that noise was weird. I know people love the series, The Once Upon a Broken Heart, so I wouldn't be surprised if that won. This might also be a good category to read through because I own most of these things. Oh, yep, here are my 2 that I'm going to have to decide between. So I did read A Study in Drowning, and I am forever kicking myself for canceling my Illumicrate and Fairy Loot subscriptions because I have missed out on so many good books that I have then had to track down for way more money. But this was surprisingly so good. I thought it was going to be a pretty mediocre, just run of the mill um YA fantasy, but there was just so much depth in this story that I was impressed. Also, it has a 4-star average rating on Goodreads, so that's pretty good. I'm very intrigued by this book, Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I've seen a lot of hype about it on Instagram and TikTok, mainly from the author. So I'm intrigued. And oh no. Well, okay. So Bring Me Your Midnights is another one that I loved. I apparently gave it 4 stars. Rachel Griffin's writing style is just so atmospheric and immersive and beautiful and witchy and magical, and I will forever read anything that she writes. But the fact that I rated it a 4 stars makes me think that's not going to be what I vote for. I can see what I'm going to vote for. Let's see. The rest of these I haven't read. Divine Rivals is my one true love. I loved that book so much. I still think about it to this day. I am like so excited to reread it next month when Ruthless Vows comes out. I'm hoping that this is a book of the month pick so I can get it maybe a little bit early. That would just be incredible. Oh my god. This book was so much more than I thought it was going to be. Like, I originally had this cover, the US cover, and from Book of the Month, and I had it for a really long time and I never picked it up. Like, the description must have stuck out to me for me to order it, but then I just never picked it up. And then when it came in Fairy Loot, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a book I need to read. And yeah, it was just so good. It's historical, it's fantastical, it's magical. The romance is just so sweet. There's something about like a dystopic world, sci-fi type world romance, and that's what I would consider this. Because they're in a romance at like the end of the world, pretty much. There's something about that kind of romance that's just the greatest thing ever. So, yeah, I want to read like everything in here. Okay, young adult fiction. Let's see. I don't read a lot of regular YA fiction anymore, so I don't know if I'll know these. Okay, first row. Five Survive, obviously I've heard of. And I feel like maybe a lot of people have read it. Second row, I have What Happens After Midnight. That's the author who does like Taylor Swift inspired romances. I read, what was the first one? I'm going to find out. The Summer of Broken Rules. I read that in the summer, I think. I think it was June. And it was really good. I apparently didn't rate it. It's probably a 4-star for me. It gave me the same feels as like a Jenny Han book. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, let's start back at the top because it apparently scrambles them every time you leave. All right, first row. Checkmate by Ali Hazelwood. I would not be surprised if that went through. I have it to read. Haven't read it. Second row. I don't know any of these. That looks very fantasy. Inheritance Games. Oh, it's like no, it's book 4. Okay. This one I feel like I heard a lot of hype about. when it first came out, but then I haven't heard anything. The covers are gorgeous. Okay. That looks cool. Forget Me Not. A romantic ode to the strength of love and power of choosing each other against odds and obstacles. Again and again. What would you do if you forgot the love of your life even existed? That's interesting. We deserve monuments, family secrets, swoon-worthy romance, and a slow burn mystery. Explore how racial violence can ripple down through generations. Knowing what's more important, knowing the truth or keeping the peace. Interesting. I have this. I haven't read it. And this keeps catching my eye. Together We Rot. A teen girl looking for the truth about her missing mother forms a reluctant alliance with her former best friend in exchange for him hiding him from his cult-leading family. Will Green's mom has been missing for over a year, and the police are ready to call the case closed. They claim she skipped town and you can't find a woman who wants to disappear. But she knows her mom wouldn't just leave. She knows the family of her former best friend has something to do with it. Interesting. I like books with cults, so that could be intriguing. Pride and Prejudice and... is that Pittsburgh? Romantic comedy that's What If It's Us meets Bridgerton. What if you found a once-in-a-lifetime love, just not in your lifetime? That's fun. Mr. Montgomery walks into her family's Pittsburgh convenience store saying he can help her. But it's definitely not that she'll be transported back to 1812. Become a Regency heroine? Oh, that's crazy. Okay, that's interesting. All right, debut novel. Oh, there will be some repeats here. So again, I read The September House. Is it like the greatest novel? I don't know. I have this. I should read it. None of this really appeals to me. Read some of that, didn't continue. Okay, the debut novel category is pretty meh. I feel like there's not a standout. Also, I haven't read most of them. Okay, we have 4 more categories. Nonfiction. I feel like I have read none of these. Oh, I do want to read that. Okay, let them load. Calm down. The creative art. Oh, the creative act, a way of being. That's interesting. Ultra processed people. Interesting. I want to read this one. On Our Best Behavior, The 7 Deadly Sins, and The Price Women Pay to Be Good. That one catches my eye a lot at work. Butts, a backstory. What? Why? Whether we love them or hate them, think they're sexy, think they're strange, consider them too big, too small, or anywhere in between, humans have a complicated relationship with butts. Okay, but why? Reporter, essayist, and Radiolab contributing author Heather Radke is determined to find out. Okay. Intriguing. How Far the Light Reaches. A queer mixed race writer working in a largely white male field, science conservative Sabrina, Mystery of Life in the Sea. Oops. Each essay talks about profiles one such creature. The mother octopus who starves herself while watching over eggs. The Chinese sturgeon whose migration route has been decimated by pollution and dams. That's interesting. Oops. Okay. I mean, I might read this. We'll see. Memoir and autobiography. Okay. First row. Wait, what? Maggie Smith. Okay. First row, haven't read them. Thicker Than Water. Second row, I read Becoming Free Indeed. I apparently didn't rate it. It was like a 2 stars. It was not as juicy as I wanted it to be. The Witching Year. Wait. What? A skeptic's year-long quest to find spiritual fulfillment through modern witchcraft. Diane Helmuth, 33, is skeptical of organized religions. She is also skeptical of disorganized religion, but more than anything, she's tired of God being dead. So she decides to try on the fastest growing self-directed faith in witchcraft. The result is 366 days of observation, trial, error, wit, and back spasms. Witches today are often presented as confident and finished, proud and powerful. That is interesting. I'm gonna have to get that. I read The Woman in Me. I gave it 5 stars. Objectively, is it a good book? No. None of those. I do want to read The In Between. It sounds really interesting. It's about a hospice nurse and her experience with helping people pass away. I read Spare. I don't know that it should win 3 stars. I did not read the other Duggar book. I wonder how it compares to Ginger's book. And I haven't read any of these. But I will be getting The Witching Year like ASAP. History and biography. Let's see. There's like this category and humor. Okay. I feel like I've read none of this either. Master and Slave, an epic journey from slavery to freedom. I bought this because I have a special edition that looks cute. It's like gorgeous. But I knew I wouldn't read it anytime soon. It just looks cool. Yeah, I feel like I've read none of this. This looks interesting. It's about plagues. Yeah, no, this is not the category for me. Let's try humor. The World Record Book of Racist Stories. Wow. Okay. America the Beautiful? Question mark. One woman in a borrowed Prius on the road most traveled. Tough Titties. On living your best life when you're the effing worst. Oh my gosh. Everybody's Favorite. From Tales of the World's Worst Perfectionist. It was an ugly couch anyway, and other thoughts on moving forward. Okay. Sure, I'll join your cult. A memoir of mental illness and a quest to belong anywhere. Okay. All right. So there's that. There's the Goodreads Choice Awards. Yeah, so I think I found a new list of books that I'd like to read for sure. Um, yeah. All right, I think that's it for now. Maybe. That was intriguing. When does these are the opening rounds. Does it say? Okay, opening round ends in 12 days. Well, I'm certainly not going to read a whole bunch in 12 days. Final round is November 28th to December 3rd. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, okay. Opening round ends the 26th. Final round is the 28th to the 3rd. Winners announced December 7th. Sweet. All right. So let me know if you're watching this in the future or whatever. Let me know down in the comments. Are there any books on here that you've read that you loved that I should prioritize? I love that. Look at that romantasy. Look at that. That's so pretty. Yeah. I think I'm gonna make a book shopping list now. And keep an eye on my channel because I'll probably be doing some sprints here soon in the future. So, bye for now, people.